Talk a little bit about your own childhood, because you were born into an immigrant family.
Yes.
From the Balkans, and
Yes.
you were born in Canada, and then you moved to the US.
Yes.
All that moving around, did it change somehow the way you grew up, the way you are today?
Well, I suppose coming from an immigrant family, we were taught a certain kind of value, a work ethic. Because everything my parents created, they created from next to nothing. Everything my family created, they created from next to nothing. And they saw that anything was possible if you just dedicated enough time and effort towards it. So yeah, I think that was something that has benefited me over time. I don't see any of this, I don't take any of it for granted. And I know that so much is possible just by applying myself in a focused manner in it.
Okay, but first we'll start with your family.
Okay.
So you are
one of a huge family. There's six children in total. Yes.
But in 7 years, in
In like 7.5 years, yeah.
Wow.
You're number firstborn?
I'm number one.
Oh, that's a lot of responsibility.
Wow.
What was that like growing up in your house with?
Everybody asks what that was like. It's awesome because I have
Maybe not for your mom.
Well, no, I know. There's a period of time that nobody knows what she looked like not pregnant, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we had playmates all the time, and they were right there under the same.
I could spend hours just playing imagination games and doing plays and so on. And I used to drag my siblings out to our porch, our patio, kind of veranda early in the morning to do plays with me. And they would often be forced to also do theater with me over like Christmas holidays and so on. So extraordinary about coming from a family of immigrants is that, first of all, we get the wonderful blessing of having a European sort of cultural heritage, and we also get the added blessing of having that sort of North American experience. And I think the combination of the two is a really rich experience, and it's something that I value.
Parents are Serbs.
They're from the Dalmatian coast,
Yeah.
and they're Serbs from Croatia, yes.
Yes, the Serbs from Croatia, and
Yes.
you were born in Canada and
Yes.
grew up in Chicago.
Yes.
And you speak 5 languages or something.
I speak a few, yeah.
And you read a lot, I think.
Yes.
So you seem to me like this is, it's very suitable to someone who's an actor. So you get a lot of multicultural.
Yes. They're like, find something that's really stable. And I studied a lot of stuff. I went and studied international relations, pre-law, biology, and everything, and finally landed back into acting.
Where are your parents from?
They're from the old Yugoslavia, from
Serbia
Eastern
and
Europe.
Croatia.
Yeah, that area. And then, of course, you're exposed to it, It's something that, I love languages. I love studying other people's languages, so I was open to it.
So tonight you guys...
I was always involved with theater and film and so on. So studying international relations and pre-law was something that I enjoyed and loved doing. But, I chose this path because it was perhaps a greater passion. That my family has traveled, and they've always encouraged studying other languages, and I think that's a part of the reality when you come from a family that's has a European background, because this is such a multicultural part of the world, and it's not difficult to travel an hour and to land in a place that speaks a different language and has totally different kind of traditions. So everyone knew that if you spoke a few languages, that would open up other opportunities and doors. And we spent summers in Europe, and that exposes you to a certain lifestyle that keeps you open to continuing that.
Which is your main language is English, right?
English, yeah.
So like you would dream in English, dream in other.
It depends, actually. Like if you're off in another country for a little while, then you'll start dreaming in that language because that's what you're speaking with in people.
Really?
Yeah.
Me be here today. I was actually one of the fortunate recipients of a scholarship that Nights Like Tonight support during my studies at the theater school. For me, it was the Chicago Drama League scholarship that set up a platform on which I could continue my studies in the arts. And trust me, I was depending on this scholarship to be able to continue studies. So I was so grateful when that actually came through. And it was huge, my studies here. When I began at the theater school, I was coming from a traditional academic background. I had finished what essentially amounted to a pre-law studies with a focus on international economics and affairs. So is a life trajectory aimed at foreign service or aimed into some international consumeristic monster corporation. Not that I don't work for one right now. and do it. I studied this in university. There's a drama school that's kind of like, from 8 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. You're doing theater, you're doing all kinds of theatrical exercises. It's like a classical conservatory. Sorry guys, this might be a little bit boring. I'm gonna try to make it quick. And then I moved to Los Angeles with no connections and not knowing anybody or anything. I didn't even know what a mark was when I did my first job. Everything was so confusing and so new. However, as soon as I made that decision to go in full force, and you have to understand, why do you want to be an actor? Do you want to be an actor to be famous? Because being famous is really easy, right? You can do a lot of things and become famous. Do you want to be an actor to tell stories? Well, some of that is in your own lap. You can start making stories and making films and filming yourself and filming other friends and so forth, right? I think that behooves every actor to learn both sides of the camera.
Thank you. The gentleman in the front row.
Well, I think I could relate to that, The best thing I have in my life are amazing family and friends, and when I say family, of course, I consider my husband family.
When you're not working?
Yes. When I'm not working, I try to travel, or I try to go and do a feature, an independent sometimes over the summers, or I'll garden. Mm-hmm. Gardening has become kind of a mini passion. Yeah, it's kind of goofy, but I love it. I think that working with herbs and plants is quite satisfying, actually.
Mm-hmm. You are a very
chatting with friends. It's super normal. It's super normal. LA can be really normal at the end of the day. No, but I don't even know what that means. I see myself as a person who's curious about life and about people, who likes storytelling, who loves working with creative people, who loves meeting and being inspired by creative